All right. Today we'll start practice, obviously, for another extremely tough road game in the SEC, and against a very good, very physical football team, being Ole Miss, and we got a work cut out for us. Just another, great challenge again on the road. So we'll start today and start working on trying to get better at some things. I was going back and looking at the game film from last week and really trying to go back through that very thoroughly. We've certainly got a lot of room to improve at a lot of different places, and we need to continue on that track if we're going to be able to come out of Oxford with a win, which is going to be very difficult. We're going to have to play really well to be able to do that.
Questions?
Let's just talk about trying to defend Solly and how dangerous he can be.
Boy, he's extremely talented, extremely dangerous with both his arm, and his ability to make things happen with his feet. And a lot of his plays that you'll see where he's extremely effective is that it's the breaking the pocket, getting out in space, and either at that point choosing to run the ball, or hitting some of those big targets he's got for at receiver. So he does a lot of things extremely well. He's very talented, and he just brings a whole nother kind of dimension to their offense that makes it very challenging to stop.
Do you see a lot of similarities between Cam and Jeremiah, or is there a lot of the impact they can have on a football game?
Well, I think they both can have an extremely they can give you a lot of problems just by their ability to make things happen when maybe something isn't necessarily there. And, they both do that. There's no question that he's improvised on several occasions and made huge plays for their offense. But, there's a lot of things that he does that is designed. Their zone read and their options off their zone read. He's extremely effective at, and again, when he gets outside the pocket and he throws the ball down the field, they're making a lot of big things happen in that regard too. So he brings definitely a dimension to the team that's that's twofold, and his athletic ability is the reason that he's able to do those things.
Gene, I know you guys are taking it one game at a time and all that, but if you step back and look at where you are now, are you amazed at how quickly, in a year and a half, that you've risen to number one in the nation?
Haven't really stepped back to really think about it a lot, to be honest with you. And I'm just proud of our football team and the fact that we've found ways to win every week. But as I say every week, you can be happy with the result, but we shouldn't at all be satisfied with where we're at. And we're still in search of trying to play a game of 4 quarters, which we haven't done yet, in my opinion. But I'm really proud of the effort of our team, and I'm really proud of the fact that they've fought and clawed their way back into games that we weren't in, and found ways to stay ahead and close the door on the games that we have been ahead in. So they've really, I think they've grown as a football team together, but in terms of just looking at where we are and all of that, right now it just doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is this Saturday.
It seems like when Alabama had that number one ranking, that it kind of overwhelmed some guys. They got caught up in the hype of being number one. And how much maturity do you think it takes for a team to handle that kind of ranking?
I think it helps. I don't think there's any question that, young guys these days, they hear it, they see it. There's no really getting away, from it. And the maturity of the young man, I think, definitely plays a part. But, I think it's challenging. But I think being mature and being able to handle them and stay very grounded is the key.
Gene, do you, having been on coached on several highly ranked teams here in Oklahoma, Texas,
Do you see a difference in, when you see a team on film and when they're playing a team like that, do you see their game, do you see opponents raise their game clearly when they're playing against?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, Philip. You know, I mean, you know, everybody reads it, everybody sees it, and everybody hears it. So, you know, we fully expect to get everybody's best shot. Not that we didn't 4 weeks ago, but I think that, you know, just simply from the media that surrounds the reality of it, you know, you continue to, you know, get everybody's best shot, and we fully expect that, but, you know, that's what makes it fun.
Gene, Mario fumbled again in the last game and kind of becoming a habit of his. Do you guys, you have to kind of stay with him as far as keeping him a part of the offense?
Absolutely. We're right there with him. We need Mario Fannin to win. There's no question about that. So we're right there with him, and I could turn on the film and show you a lot of guys that have made mistakes throughout the games that no one did notice, but they were huge. So we're all, that's our whole team. You know, we've all made those mistakes, and we're sticking with our guys.
Do you treat him any differently? I mean, do you keep working on these fumble things, or does he just go through practice like you would normally?
We continue to work it. Coach Looper continues to work it with all the running backs all the time, from the time they get out there and stretch to the time they, you know, they leave the field. So, you know, again, it's just something we'll continue to stress, and hopefully, you know, we'll have a better result. But we're going to continue to do what we've been doing and emphasize it to the best of our ability every day, every practice.
Could there be any changes in the punt return game, do you think?
Right now, Philip, you know, we've got the order set in the people that we believe can punt return for us if something happens with Q, and we're prepared to do and play, you know, do what we have to do and play the best guy that gives us a chance to win. And right now, don't really anticipate there being any significant changes, but we're always prepared if we have to put another guy back there, you know, to do that.
Coach, this game last year is the one in which Zach Etheridge suffered his injury.
Yeah.
He's had a very nice season for you this year. Talk about where he's come since then and where he's at now.
God, he's blessed, man. I'm gonna tell you, he a year ago now was a very, you know, hard time for everybody, for him, for his family, for our team, and just the fact that he's sitting here, you know, playing in this game is an amazement. You know, I'm in amazement. You know, when I really step back and think about that day. So he's very blessed. He knows he is, and just going to, you know, it's just going to be probably, you know, somewhat of a little bit of an emotional deal for him, possibly. I don't know. We haven't really talked about it, but I know he knows how lucky he is, and I'm sure he's not going to forget that.
Gene, you talked a lot about the blocking, not just the offensive line guys, but your perimeter blocking. And how much, has it been a steady improvement from the point where you called them out and said you need to be more physical?
I think that there's been some significant improvement from game, what was that, game 3. I think there's been some significant improvement, and I think that, you know, one of the things, you know, again, when you challenge our guys, you know, as a coach, you look for guys to respond. I mean, that's what you look for. If they're not responding, then, you know, we're going to have issues. And I think that starting with our offensive line, I went in there and told them last week, just the offensive line. I went in there and told them, I said, you know, for us to win, you have to continue to improve, and, you know, you're much better than you were a month ago, but you're what makes it go. So that's where it starts. And I made that very clear to them in their meeting room, that that's what we have to have. And from there, everybody starting there and everybody else, as you work inside out on the offense, everybody's got to raise their level of play individually. And I think that, you know, I think they're trying to do that. They're not perfect every play, but as long as the effort's there and it looks like they're really, really trying to improve at their trade, that's all we can ask for right now. And it seems like there's been some significant improvements, you know, over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Gee, with Grandy as a returner, kickoffs and punts, is this been one of those challenging?
It really is. It is, Mark. It is. It's like Kentucky. It's like LSU. It's, you know, those great returners. I mean, he took one back on us last year, in our game last year. He's had, you know, significant punt returns this year, and it'll be extremely challenging because both of their return games are really, really good. This is going to be a special teams field position deal Saturday. I really believe that. I really believe that field position is, and it is every game, there's no question, but when you have somebody that good at what they do, that's where it really becomes a huge point of emphasis for us, for all of our coverage units. So, you know, and not just our coverage units, you know, us being able to get positive yards on our punt returns, you know, and us being able to get positive yards on our kickoff returns. And, but I think it's going to be a huge special teams game.